She died last Thursday when I hesitated, when I pulled back for one heartbeat when she needed me. I let her fall into the hollow. She was my wife, my love. I know that now. I teach at a university. I'm 43. I'm supposed to be the kind of man who can explain himself. Right now, I can barely close my eyes without thinking of her, seeing images of her. I deserve this. I know I do. I can dress it up however I want, but in the end, I'm just an idiot asshole who had excuses. I was living between two women, my wife, Jacky, and Leah. I loved them both. That's why it doesn't settle, why it keeps pressing in on me from the inside. Jacky was my wife for 11 years. She worked in research at a drug company I won't name, out past the city, big salary, perfect setup. One of those gray glass places with gates and badges, and people who never really say what they do. She was senior there, the kind of smart that made other smart people straighten up when she walked in. But she wasn't distant from the research itself. She went deep into it, into the compounds, the trials, the smallest details. She needed to see things herself, not through reports or through other people. I used to love that about her. She was beautiful too, not just to me. Tall and slight, dark hair, pale skin, black eyes that lingered on you in a way that stirred something low and hard to ignore. The kind of face that made people turn without realizing it. Even when she was tired, even when she was angry, she had that kind of beauty. The problem was that living with her felt like living next to a wire that was always live. At first it was kind of cute, even exciting, but over the years that faded. She noticed everything. If I came home 3 minutes late, if I showered before dinner on the wrong day, if my shirt smelled like coffee from a place I didn't usually go. Over time, I began to feel like I was suffocating in it, like the air was slowly being pulled out of our lives. It felt cold. It felt lonely. She never yelled. Sometimes I wish she had. It would have been easier to fight something loud. Instead, she would just look at me for 1 second too long, or ask one small question in that calm, even voice, and I'd feel my stomach drop. Ice bitch, I used to call her when we fought, and I lost it. When I wanted to hurt her back for the way I felt trapped with her, even though staying was my choice. It always made her livid, but not in a loud way. It was something colder than anger, like an inner kind of crying that never made it to the surface. Once, during one of our usual fights, she looked at me and said, quietly, "You're the one with the crack in your heart. Behind it there's just emptiness. An endless, swallowing hole no woman is ever going to fill." After a while, we'd patch things up, say just enough to keep going, and slip right back into the same cold distance that our marriage had become. At least we didn't have kids to drag through it. Her mother killed herself after Jacky's father had an affair. She told me that before we got married. We were sitting in her car outside my place, engine off, the windows fogged, the quiet ticking of it cooling down. The street was empty. She had both hands folded in her lap, looking straight ahead, not at me. She didn't cry, of course. "Some people don't survive betrayal," she said. Then she looked at me and added, "And they kill families." I never forgot that. But I loved her. I need that said. I loved the smell of her hair when she came to bed late. I loved the rare way she smiled, like it had to fight through stone to get out. I loved how, on good mornings, she'd tuck her cold feet under my leg and steal my heat without asking. I loved the softness of her body, the way her skin gave under my hands, and how I could feel the quiet outline of her bones beneath it. I loved her even when I was scared of her, and I was scared of her a lot by the end. It felt like living under a constant gray sky, something heavy pressing down on me day after day, wearing me down, draining whatever was left of my will to live, like the walls were slowly closing in. Then there was Leah. Leah was 28, a graduate student of one of my colleagues, not a child, but young enough that I hated myself the first time I wanted her. She wasn't in my classes, thank God, but close enough to my world that it made everything worse. If Jacky ever found out I was sleeping with a graduate student, it wouldn't just wreck my marriage. It could wreck my job, my name, my whole life. Leah was nothing like Jacky. Jacky was all angles and stillness. Leah was soft where Jacky was hard. Honey-colored skin, thick blonde curls she kept tying up and letting down again, wide mouth, warm blue eyes, small golden earrings that hung like something old. She laughed with her whole face. When she listened, she leaned in, close, her breath brushing me, and there was something unusual in the way it smelled, something I couldn't explain, but it pulled me in. She was a cloud of warmth and sun. Jacky made me feel examined. Leah made me feel wanted, desired. And yes, I wanted her. I wanted her badly. The first time she touched my wrist and a calf and asked if I was okay, I felt that touch the rest of the day. It wasn't just sex, though God knows there was that too. It was the feeling of my body unclenching around her. With Leah, I could breathe. I could say stupid things. I could be tired. I could sit in silence and not feel judged. That's how it started. Then it turned into something real, a fucking affair. I always thought I wasn't that kind of asshole. Turns out I was. And the worst part is, she made me happy in a way I hadn't been in a long time. 3 months. 3 months of deleting messages in parking lots. 3 months of checking my collar and mirrors before I went home, erasing Kate Bush and the weekend songs from my playlist. Little traces she left behind without even meaning to. 3 months of coming back to my own house with my pulse hammering, wondering if tonight was the night Jacky would look at me and know. She almost caught me more than once. A blonde hair would have been too easy. Jacky had dark curls like spilled ink. I got careful about everything, brushing off my clothes, checking myself before I walked back in the door. Instead, it was smaller things that almost gave it away. Orange hand cream on my skin. A motel receipt I forgot in the inside pocket of my coat. One night my phone lit up on the table and Jacky glanced at it before I could turn it over. She didn't say anything for a full minute. Then she asked, "Do your students usually text you after midnight?" I said Leah wasn't my student. I don't know why I said that. Maybe because some part of me was already confessing. Jacky just looked at me. "That wasn't my question," she said. "I was a shitty husband, not just because I lied and dodged questions. The truth is, the marriage had gotten so heavy on me that I stopped really seeing what mattered, or I saw it and didn't act." A little before I met Leah, Jacky had already started looking unwell. I asked once, maybe twice, if she was okay. She brushed it off, said she'd see one of the doctors they have at their facility, said it was nothing, just this new drug at work, long hours, pressure, everyone running on fumes. And I took that as permission to look away, to stay out later, to spend more nights with Leah. Even then, even with Leah, seeing Jacky like that got to me. That's the part people won't understand. I still wanted her. Not the way I wanted Leah, not anymore, but I'd look at my wife and still see the woman I had once wanted so badly it hurt. Leah finally tried to force me to choose. We were in the room she rented outside town. She'd told everyone she had a workshop, some excuse like that, sitting on the bed with takeout cartons between us. She looked tired, worn down in a quiet way, like someone who's been waiting too long for a man who keeps going home to someone else. "I can't keep being the place you hide," she said, and all I could think about was burying my face in her thick golden hair, disappearing there, like that old Guns N' Roses song. I looked at her, her pretty bare feet tucked under her, my sweatshirt hanging off of her naked shoulder, her face open, hurt, still gentle. "So?" I asked. "So either you leave," she said, "or you stop coming." I swallowed, feeling something in my chest tighten, and said, "I don't know how to do either." She looked at me for a moment, like she was about to say something and then changed her mind, and instead leaned in, a little uncertain, and kissed me softly, her hand resting on my arm as if she wasn't sure I'd still be there. That same night, Jacky asked if I'd come with her to a cabin near that lake in the north. 2 nights. No work, no excuses. Just us. It caught me off guard, of course. But I should have realized she knew more than she let on. The owner of the cabin told us not to go far out on the ice. Look solid till it doesn't, he said. The next morning, while Jacky was in the bathroom, Leah texted me. If you mean it, I'll wait tonight. Jacky came out and saw my face. She didn't ask to see the phone. She didn't need to. Who is she? She asked. I lied, badly. She stared at me for a long second, then said, very quietly, "Don't do this to me." She put on her coat and walked out toward the lake. I followed her. The air burned my throat. The snow squeaked under my boots. She looked so thin in that dark coat. So beautiful. So breakable. She stopped near the shore and turned to me. Who is she? She asked. I couldn't answer. That was answer enough. She nodded once and turned away from me and kept walking, quickly. I saw the darker patch ahead. I knew what it meant. I remember that clearly. I knew. Jacky. I called, "Come back." I wasn't sure she heard me. She kept going. I pressed my lips tight. Then the ice cracked. The sound was sharp and wrong. She dropped hard, one leg through, then both, and suddenly she was in black water up to her chest, clawing at the edge. Her face when she looked back at me, Jesus. I dream that face every night. It is my eternal punishment, part of it. I ran. I did run. But for some awful reason, it wasn't right away. There was 1 second. Maybe less. One small, filthy second when I thought, if she dies, I won't have to choose. Then I moved. I got down on the ice, reached for her, felt it break under me too, felt cold water hit my hands like knives. She grabbed my wrist once. I can still feel her nails. Then I jerked back to keep from going in myself, and that tiny backward move was enough. By the time I lunged forward again, she was gone. Afterward, there were sirens, people, a blanket around my shoulders. Someone said her name. Someone said mine. I don't remember much else. I drove straight to Leah. I needed her. That's the ugliest truth after the ice. My wife had just died, and I still drove to the woman I was going to leave her for. Her door was unlocked. That felt wrong right away, but I still pushed it open. The room was too bare. No clothes, no books, no bag on the floor, not messy, emptied. I took a few steps in, and I saw it. Her sink. A badge. Familiar shape before the name even hit me. Jacky's name. Under it, 3 small glass vials in a case. And beside them, a sheet of paper. It wasn't addressed to anyone, but I knew it was meant for me. I don't remember the note word for word. Everything started to blur, like I might pass out. But I remember what it meant. It was something she couldn't say to me. Maybe something I was never meant to read at all. She'd used that experimental drug to change herself, to become softer, warmer, someone I could love. Leah was Jacky. Jacky was Leah. I think I lost it a little more then. You know that feeling when everything goes quiet and far away, like you've slipped just outside yourself and can't quite get back in? I remember gripping the sink, trying to steady myself, trying to make it make sense. I told myself Leah and Jacky were the same woman, tried to hold that thought in place, but it wouldn't stay. It kept slipping, like my mind just wouldn't let those 2 women settle into the same person. At the end of the note, she wrote that she saw it clearly. I didn't love her. I loved the drug and what it turned her into, and that knowing it broke her, but she still couldn't stop. She was addicted to being the only version of herself I ever chose. I see it now. She was right. There's a hollow in me that even true love can't survive.